Mesechta Avoda Zara Daf Ayin Daled Amud Aleph. We're starting from the Mishnah. Going to the Mishnah. Hasechas HaPayil. Okay, sagt the Mishnah. Eilu Asurim ve'oisim bechol shu. These things are aser, and they aser other things when it gets mixed with bechol shu. Of course, it's min b'minay. Min b'minay, if it's the same in yayin b'yayin, it's bechol shu. Mayim, they had nischa mayim also by the Avoda Zara. So mayim shenis nasich, mayim nesach with mayim heter. That's min b'minay. That's bechol shu. Yayin b'mayim, then it's only b'neis and tam. It's acha b'shishim. So here the case is talking about asur b'yoisnas taruvos b'chol shu has to be min b'minay. Yayin nesach. What's if it's yayin nesach that fell into had to take a wine into wine? It's b'chol shu. V'avid tzichavim. Avid tzichavim is they had a tzura of Avid tzichavim in which they was nevda. They served it. They idolized it, and it got mixed up with other tzuras that were never idolized. They were never worshipped. So then it's all aser. V'idus levuvin. We have everything is aser. If you don't know which one it is, it got mixed up. One of the idols that they worship got mixed up with all the other idols that they didn't worship.
The idols itself is good.
Yeah, it's not worship. It's just a statue.
So they allowed to big business with it?
Yeah, you could sell it. It's not an idol. But if they worshipped it, it's a doll. Correct. It is. That's what he uses that lashon, a doll. So it's a whole bunch of dolls, but there was one doll that they worshipped and it fell in between all the dolls. All the dolls are aser. The same. You understood? Because one that one they worshipped. They made it Avoda Zara. So, and it got mixed up with a whole bunch of not Avoda Zara. You don't know which one it is. They're all the same dolls. No, Avoda Zara is macht asas b'chol shu. Asas is everything. If it's b'taruvis. V'eiris levuvin. This was a certain way that they served idols. If you remember, we had this before. They would cut a hole in the skin, right on keg the hearts, while the baby was living. Right. While they were living, they pull out the heart and they would do takuvas Avoda Zara. They killed the animal alive. While it was alive, they pulled the heart out, and that was a way of serving. They cut it right around the heart, the skin, right on next. Yeah, but that we're talking about this skin that they use for this worshipping. The hide with the behemoth got mixed up with a whole bunch of behemoths. All the behemoths, all the oidus and the behemoths are aser. But you can't see because he already worked out the skin. You don't know which one had the hole. But Shori Aniskel. A Shori Aniskel is a shor that killed a person or lived with a person, which was dan l'skila. And this shor got mixed up with a whole bunch of shmarim. So all the shmarim are aser. Egla Rufa is if they find a mace between two cities. So they go to the one that's closest to the city. They take that animal and they knock off its bite the head, and they bring it to a valley.
They bring it to that town.
To that, and that's they bring it up to the mountain. It says over there. So and they bring it to the Nachal Esam, to the Valley of Esam. A Valley of Esam means a valley which the earth is very hard, and over there they break off its neck, the Reisha of the Egla. And if it got mixed up with a whole bunch of Eglays, then it's all Asa. Tzipayim Meseda, no, it's a kapara for the mace. A kapara for the whole city. We don't know who killed it.
The main thing is where they buried the head.
The head was, they cut off the egla. That's the kapara. They knocked off the head.
When they say they bring it out to that valley?
They brought first the egla to the place, to the valley of Esam, where the earth was hard. And over there is where they cut off the head. Tzipayim Mitzayda, a Mitzayda that was healed, they would take two birds. One bird they would shecht, and the second bird they would dip into the blood that they shechted. So he says that tzipayim he brings down over here the tzipor in over here. So he says the tzipor that was geschachten was a big tzipor. It was a big bird that you can give as a chatricha ruya l'skabit, but it got mixed up with a whole bunch of birds, so they all become aser. Useir nazir, the hair of a nazir. The din is the hair of a nazir. You have to use it for the fire for the shlamim. He brings down that it has to be used for the fire of the shlamim. And what did they use the hair? They made from the hair bags, or they can use it for sheitlach, whatever. So that hair, if it got mixed up with a whole bunch of different hair, all the hair becomes asa. Because the hair of a nasa is asmana. Upetach hameir, the firstborn zacha dika hameir has to be redeemed for a sign given to the kohen. So if this petach hameir that wasn't yet redeemed got mixed up with other chameirim, they all become asa. Ubasa, that was nizbashel bechalav. So now this basa has the tam of chalav in it, and this basa got mixed up with a whole bunch of basa. All the basa becomes asa. The soyer hamishtaleyach. Soyer hamishtaleyach is one of the two seirim that they brought on Yom Kippur, and one out of the geidel fell on the soyer that has to be sent out to the Azazel to the Midbar to forgive for the sins of the Bnei Yisrael. They would throw it from from a high place of the Azazel, and when they would throw down the mountain, all its bones and Seibanim would break, fall apart.
What about Malachayim over here?
No, not over here. It's for us. It's good. It's a kapara. So if it got mixed up with other seirim, it's all asa. The chulin shenishchat b'asara. A chulin that got geshacht in the hazara, the chulin is not allowed to be slaughtered in the hazara, so it becomes asana, and it got mixed up with the others. Arei asurim, they're all asur.
The whole mission is Asur.
Asur, and the asers, whatever it got mixed up with, b'cholshu, even b'cholshu. In fact, you want to make kachashu. What category are we putting it in to say it's sebet nishbatel? It's not going to be batel because of what? Why is it so chashuv? Is it because it's a davar shabaminyan, or is it something that's also ba'ana? What is it? Davar shabaminyan chashuv. If you're going to say that it's something that you count as a yachid, 1, 2, you count it very special.
You can find the differences.
So no. So it's very chashuv. You count it by ones.
Right.
That you don't count it. It's not by 10 at a time, a dozen of eggs. No, it's each egg separately. So then, if it's a davar shabaminyan, so then that's why it's not batel, and therefore everything becomes asur because you don't know which one it is. In fact, if you're talking about mitzvah davar shabaminyan, listening now b'chatich nevela, then learn about pieces of nevela of a behemah. The nevela are dvarim chashuvim, and it's a davar shabaminyan. So why didn't you mention amongst the cases that it doesn't become batel, and if it gets mixed up, it's all asa? Why didn't you mention the vela? Chatich is the vela.
But it's anyways also. How was it? He wasn't the vela also.
What made it that it shouldn't become batel beroiv? Bechlal, if a isa falls into heta, they batel b'shishim. Here we're not saying batel b'shishim. Favos nish. Is it valsa adav chashuv? Adav shabaminyan is ain't batel even an aleph. Or is it because or maybe you're saying, oh, you know why it's not batel? Because it's asbana. He holds something that's asbana, cause is meineya, holds back from being batel, and it has nothing to do with the chshivs of the chayfetz. In fact, if it has nothing to do with the chshivs of the chayfetz, and the reason why it's not going to be batel, and if it gets mixed up and you don't know which one it is, it's all asa. Listen now, chametz bePesach. Chametz bePesach is breklach from chametz. This kind of a chashuv. Crumbs of chametz is not something that's chashuv, but we say it's asabana. So why didn't the Mishnah count the chametz? Breklach of chametz. If you're not dafka looking for a davar shabaminyan. Yes, or or you got mixed up with things that are mutter. With matzah, with a whole bunch of matzah, let's say. Breklach of matzah. So we should say, there we know if the chametz and breklach got mixed up there, right? So then it's not batal and it's all asa. So why don't we count? Why didn't the Mishnah mention that in the category? He learns you need both gedorim. Sai davash b'minyan and sai b'yisuri ano. So it has to be a dava chashuv, and it also has to be something that's asma ano. In fact, the Gemara, so you're looking for something that's dava chashuv and asma ano. So listen, a goyze perech. Learn these hard nuts, the brittle shells. Riboine bodam and the pomegranates of bodam, which was arla. So first of all, they were very chashuv nuts, or very chashuv pomegranates, and the davash b'minyan. So it was a davash b'minyan, and you can't have anah. Oh, because you got mixed up with a whole bunch of pomegranates, which were not arla. If this one was arla, no, but it felt no. He's saying if pomegranates, this pomegranate was an arla dika one. When the first 3 years of the planting of the tree got mixed up with a whole bunch of other pomegranates, then they're all also it's a dav shabaminian, and the same thing the nut was the Allah the nut that got mixed up with it.
Before he now you're saying they need both, right? So these things have both,
right?
But they certainly have one.
One is not good. He's only counting in the Mishnah those that have both. So he's asking if there are more. There are cases that have both. Agoize perech of
Everything that he
Arla.
counted had both.
Yes. And Rimayne Bodan, as the pomegranates of Bodan was also Dav Minyan Visuriano because it's Arla.
So
why doesn't he bring it in the Mishnah? He said the reason why he didn't bring these two cases because that he already learned the Mishnah of Arla, which is similar to this. It says Agoize Perech Rimayne Bodan V'Chav Yistum Shal Yayin, and he brings down a whole bunch of cases, which is Haroi. He says, which is from between the minim lihi asmi isarla, which is fit to become isarla. So the haroyi or the klayak hadam, or it was a case of that it was a pomegranate of klayim, or nuts of klayim. So it's liyasi klayak hadam. So he says, so he asks that taruv is mishum klayak hadam. He says, and those that are also to become also as klaya kenem, which is a davar shabaminyan, as something that's chashuv and it's also ba'nog, which of course it's klaya kenem, has a thing like klaya kenem. Okay, so he says,
that's why they have to bring to the Mishnah.
Right, since he already learned in Masechta Arla, Dvarim Chashuvim, which is also mishum Arla and klaya kenem, as is the taruvs b'chol shehu. So we didn't have to talk about taruvis that asas b'chol shehu. He didn't have to talk about the tarubis that asas b'chol shehu of by our Mishnah because he already mentioned by Allah. Are you going to say why do we even have to mention our Mishnah about Yayin Esech if he already mentions by Allah? Why Yayin Esech? So he says Yayin Esech is midabonan. So it's exactly midabonan. I wouldn't know it would have to say the same severity in the Easter, the same din, right? Here he brings down. Yeshlem Shamishnah Utzchel Lashmeina Allah Chazul Gabe Yayin Esech Mishum Sheisa Nami Yayin Esech Eino Mefurish B'Torah. It's nicht Mefurish. Klayim is Mefurish B'Torah. Orla B'Araltim Orla is Mefurish B'Torah. But when it comes to Yayin Esech, is a alimut in the pasuk. So right. So therefore, I would have thought that Chacham are more mekel. Okay. In fact, you might have listened to Kikodesh Shabbat Abayis. Let us learn loaves of bread. And loaves of bread is a davar chashuv because it's bigger than the baker's bread. A bread that is private bread that's made in by private owners. No, we're talking about Arla bread. He used the bread of Arla or Kalayim. Yeah, either one. Why didn't he mention it in the Gemara?
But he talked already about
He says, why didn't the Tana mention the Mishnah also the Yisrael Chametz B'Pesach, which there is also Davar Chashuv. I'm sorry, not by Kalayim and Allah, by Chametz B'Pesach. Why didn't he mention Kikari Shabal Abayis, which is a Davar Chashuv by Chametz B'Pesach? Says Yibana Ban Shemayt the Doam Allah. Who's the Tana that said that a Kikar Shabal Abayis versus a baker's loaf is a davar chashuv? Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva is the one that said it. Rabbi Akiva in that Mishnah in Allah says Hatanulei Hasan. He already learned that day in Rabbi Akiva Mesim Afki Kodesh Balabayis. The Rabbi Akiva adds even the loaves of a Balabayis by Arla and by Kalayim. So therefore, he didn't have to learn it, but the Gei Chametz of Pesach, because the Kikaris was mentioned by Allah according to Rabbi Akiva. Because Rabbi Akiva is the one that was mechadish that the Kikaris of Balabayis is Adav Chashuv Lagabi the Kikaris Shonachta. In the Mishnah, we finished off saying Harei Elu Asurim, and it asks the Taruv is Bechol Shul. In fact, Harei Elu. What's this Harei Elu Miyutimai? When you say Elu these, now which not? What are we coming to exclude? Says Gemara Lemiyut Dav Minyan Velavi Suriyano. He's coming to exclude if it's only a Dav Minyan, but it's not Isuriyano, or Inami Lemiyut Isuriyano, that it's only something that's Satzvano. Veloi Dav Minyan. That's what he's coming to exclude. That's not going to be B'Kol Shul. Only if it's a Davar Chashiv and it's also Asbana. Then it's B'Kol Shul if it's been B'Minay.
Yeah. No, but saying not these are not.
Oh, then you'll need Batal Shishim. Then you'll need Shishim. Nisan Tam or Shishim.
Does it mean B'Minay?
Min B'Minay, yeah. But even by Min B'Minay, it has to be a Davar Chashiv and something that's Asbana. Then it becomes Asbana Shul. But if it's only one of them, it's not going to be Asbana Shul. Then you'll go to the regular Kal, Batal Shishim. Yeah. And the Zakti Mishnah, Yayin Nesach Shadaf L'Beir, Yayin Nesach that had fallen into the Beir, which the Beir has had to take a wine. Kulei Asabana, the whole pit which has the head to take a wine becomes Asabana. No, Yayin Nesach was that fell into the Beir which had heta wine that was kosher wine. So he says all the wine becomes Asa. Yesterday we learned every drop of the Isa becomes bottle. So yesterday we learned it's talking about that the barrel it fell in so much, it wasn't that it wasn't able to become bottle. It was a barrel of Yain Nesach that fell into the pit. Rabbi Shimon Gamil says since it was a barrel that fell in, he could sell it, but he cannot have enough from one barrel. Except for the barrel that had Yain Nesach, so he did not. Because Yain Nesach he can't have enough from. Let's say Rabbi Shimon Gamil says it didn't touch the wine. Physically, the wine didn't touch the wine. The wine itself didn't touch the wine. It was a barrel that fell in between all the barrels, which the wine hasn't touched. The Gemara is going to explain soon. And then there's a day that Rabbi Shimon Gamil he even holds by Yain. We'll soon see. Omarab halacha Rabbi Shimon Gamil. The halacha is like Rabbi Shimon Gamil chavis bechavius. If it's a barrel, if one fell between 99 barrels, okay, or between 60 barrels, so then he could sell the 60 barrels minus one because one of the barrels were Yain Nesach. Avalo Yain b'Yain. But if it was the actual wine that touched the wine, then it's not. That's why it doesn't. It's asba no. Shmuel argues. Shmuel says afilu Yain b'Yain. Even if it's wine mixed with wine, he says the Yain Nesach became bottled. Because every drop that falls in from the Yain Nesach, it becomes bottled into with the rest of the wine. From the kosher wine. Every little drop, you could do it a whole day. Because every drop that falls in bottle, next bottle to that's the go on. And if it's a whole barrel, so we're not talking about a barrel, we're talking about the wine itself. It's leaking in. Afilu yain b'yain, even if it's wine with wine. Even if it's wine with wine. Afilu yain b'yain, even if it's wine with wine. Not everybody, just Shmuel says, and together with all these people, hold with him. Because it's a chiddush to say yain b'yain. It's not going to be. It's going to be mutter, even if the physical wine touch the yain nesach the wine.
Gave a reasoning.
Just gave
a reason.
Yeah. Amar Rav Nachman halacha l'maisa. What about halacha l'maisa? So he says yayin nesach. If it's actual yayin that was worshipped for Avoda zara, then yayin b'yayin nesach. Everybody will hold. If it was actually worshipped for yayin nesach,
forget about it.
Then you forget about it. It's all going to be asur.
What kind of wine is not?
Oh, chavis bechavis mutter. If it's a barrel that the wine itself didn't touch the wine, then it's mutter. Of course, you can sell. No, but you have to deduct that barrel that was for Avoda zara. He brings down on the bottom. Stam yain.
Always have to deduct, right?
Yes. Stam yain. Even by yain, you deduct the amount of wine that dripped in. That you cannot have anah. Stam yain. But what's if it's yain that was not worshipped? The guy touched it. But so we call it yain nesa, but it wasn't actually worshipped for Avoda zara. Yain mutter. Then yain there is going to be mutter. It's going to be bottle. Zok the Mishnah got shall even a vat, a wine press made out of stone. A wine press. It was like a keli with a stamp, trampled, steinod with the feast. With the feast, they trampled over the grapes.
Like the Chinamen do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You give exercise with the feet.
They jump. Yeah. Got shall even shazav said a vat that was made out of stone, but they smeared it with tar in order to seal it. But the tar had a very bad smell. So how would they remove the smell? They would add in the tar wine. L'chatchila. So a guy who did it, it was yayin nesach mixed in it. It's given by yayin nesach in the tar. Yeah. In the zephyrs. Minagva. He dries it up, and then and then it becomes tired from the yayin that was mixed with the zephyrs. It's tired, and the wine is good that you make in that vat. He says that's all you need. He doesn't use nice and tam lagam. No, he says that that's enough to that it shouldn't get mixed with the wine. You just wipe it down, and if it's dry, then you can make your new wine in there. Okay. If it was made out of wood, the vat, not out of stone, so the wood itself doesn't absorb more than stone. But the problem is when you want to seal wood, you need more sealer, more tar to seal it up. So there's more zephyrs, so there's more wine because you're using to cover the wall. With the walls, so you have to use more tar. So you want to remove the smell. There's so much tar. You have to put in more wine to counteract the smell of the tar. Rabbi Yema Yenagit. Rabbi says all you have to do is wipe it down, the wine, and it's dried up, and then you can work with that wine press. No, drying up is not enough. He has to take off the whole zephyrs. And if it was cheres, if it was of earthenware, because cheres in itself absorbs the wine of a yayin nesach. So there's you could by irui if the 24 hours 3 times on cheres also he used milui beirui. He fills it up with b'chal you can't kasha cheres. He says over here by cheres that you would do milui beirui every 3 days, 24 hours. Yeah, but you did it 24 hours. 4. Let me just make sure.
Yeah, 3 days.
Lo yidai b'kiluf hazal v'nigla acheres ali tzricha hershe chamor shel milui beirui. And we had already. What's this milui beirui? After 24 hours, you fill it up with hot water, and then hot water to be machshir. And then, again, after 24 hours, you do it again, and 3 times you do it. Okay.
Every glass was important.
It was expensive, yeah. It's not good. Garbage. Okay. Okay, we just said. This that the Mishnah required the drying up by a vat made out of stone, dafke is a fossa. Only when do you have to dry it up is only if it was made with tar. And drying it up wasn't stopping drying it up. They would use ash and they would scrub it down and then dry it up. It wasn't a simple nigel. It's not a hadocha, rinsing, you just wash out. No. Nigel, if you needed an afer, It says over here, you need an 8 fits, it says I'm at Mayim, and then wipe it down.
They didn't have any steel all that time.
No still wall, they had ashes, yeah. So if you want to avalim dorich ba loy, but if he stamped, he didn't have any tar, he just stamped the novim on the ground, so the gas doesn't need. If a goy stamped the grapes into the gas, which was only stone, and there was no tar on top of it, then it's enough by just rinsing it out with water. It's self-understood. You learned in the Mishnah, if it was tar, then you have to use the afer, the ash with the water, to clean it up. But otherwise, you could rinse it out, of course. That's what it says in the Mishnah. And the Gemara, no. I would have thought. I would have thought the same. I would have thought the same thing applies even if the guy trampled on the grapes in the vat with the stones itself. And this that the Mishnah learned the case of that he put up tar. He learned the normal way, because normally a yid would not allow a goy to stamp on the grapes because that's yayin nasa. So the only thing he would allow a guy to do is tar it up. Or you get a worker, a guy, to tar it up, and he would mix in the wine for the yid. A yid would get a guy to do zephyrs, but not to start trample on grapes in his vat. So that's why the Mishnah hopped on the case of zephyr with the guy. Not dorach boy as the goy mashmalan, and that's why the Mishnah had to teach us that even if the goy trampled without zephyrs, you'll still need niguv. You're going to still need to. I'm sorry, you're not going to need niguv. You only have to wash it out. Amar said dafke zifasa only if the goy made the tar with the wine. But if the goy trampled wine in the keli, I would say even benigov shouldn't be good, because the goy mamish made yayin nasa with his feet. So I would say there you need more of a irui, like we said, milui ve'irui. Maybe you need much more. So as Gemara Pshita, sure, zefasut lam. We said niguv helps only if the guy did the tar and he mixed wine, but not if he squeezed the grapes himself. I would say you need much more. I would have thought even if the guy trampled on the grapes and made wine, their nigo should help. And this that he learned zifasa, that he tarred it or the milsi, because that's a normal thing that a yid hires a guy for, not to trample on the wine. Yeah, so then you get a guy to do it. But to trample on the grapes to make wine, that's yayin nasa. He would never hire him. Mashwan, here comes the teachers. Dafke is a fasa. Dafke, if the guy did the tar, niguv will help. The drying with the ash will help. Aval in dorach, but if the guy himself trampled on the grapes, niguv is not going to be good enough. He's going to have to eat milui ve'irui, the 3 days, fill it up. And 24 hours, then Milo, you fill it up again, the eater, and you pour it out again. Like this person, the story with this person that came before Rab Chiya. Give me a person who can machsher sein and do hagola and to be machsher the vat, not hagola, but to be machsher this my vat. He wants my vat, my wine press, to be able to use it. He wants to be kosher. So now that he can make wine in it. Amalei, Chiya said Ladav. Ladav was his nephew from both sides. Chiya's brother and I think the stepbrother and his sister got married, and they had Rav. So it was his nephew from both sides. He's told him, Rav, he says, Zilbadeh, he says, go with this person and work on kashering his vat. V'chaziyah, make sure the loy matzvach alai be'midrasha. Make sure you do a good job, because I don't want people coming back to me in the tainas that I hired you and say you messed it up. I made all the wine usher.
Give me a good job on that.
Yeah, give you a job, but do your job right. Ozal Chazi the Havas Shiyot. Rab went there
To see.
and he went to see and he sees the surface. The guy did a beautiful job. It's smooth.
Very nice.
Chalak b'yis, it's very smooth. Amarav, so Rab said, Avoda b'nigiv sagila. Here, you don't have to do any peeling. You only have to do the ash with the water. You don't have medafnish maklev zayin the. You don't have to peel off the tar.
surface, yeah.
But how did the cause of us? While Rab was looking and checking, because he was afraid of what the Abchia said, and then on his way out, he saw a crack on the bottom of the vat. So he saw, let me look by the crack. He saw in the crack of the tar, there was a whole bunch of wine. Like you make those rooftops, they make the tar, and they finish, and after a rain, you see there's a bubble. What's this bubble? I made it. They say you need a new roof right away because there's a crack somewhere in the tar where the water creeped under. Here he found the wine over here. So you might have he saw that it was filled with wine. Amarav said, "This is not good with nigu. If you have to peel off the whole tar." And this is what Habibi said. He says that now he reminded himself, Reb Chia, I better peel off the whole tar.
But he's not going to send any more of the guys to do the job.
No, he did a good job, Rab. He peeled off the whole thing.
He's not going to send any
So,
more
it's Reb Chia. See to it that the people, they shouldn't come back and scream at me. Okay. The wine press, and the ladle, and the funnel, of a guy. Rabbi says these kalim and the wine press you could do with ash and water. Chum say no, you have to have the full kashering. Milui be'irui.
And all these kalim.
Yeah. Rabbi is made when it comes to jugs. That it's going to be usher. In fact, you want to why is jugs different than the other kingdom? You said it's mutter. Between the kankanim and the kingdom that we above mentioned. It's like, you want to here he's bringing in by the jug for a long time, so it absorbs more. Therefore, it's not enough. Beniguv, he has to do imilu veiru. But these, like the funnel or the ladle, it's not made to hold the wine for a long time. So you rinse it, right? So he says there, it's enough beniguv. And what about a vat that's made, a wine press made from wood and stone? Yinagiv. All you have to do is not rinse, but wipe it off with ash. But he says if it was with zephyrs, then it's usher till you peel off the whole zephyrs. But what about we learn even a vat of stone which had zephyrs on it. We said that the guy could be menagim and it's tar, and here you say you have to, if it was misupavim, you have to peel it off. So our mission is talking about that the guy, if it was tarred, the guy didn't go and take grapes for the yid and trample the grapes. So therefore, in such a case, you could do nigo. But Aisa, the darachba, in this last case where we said it's asa, is talking about that after he put in surface, the guy went and he pushed in the wine further. So if he pushed it there, nigo is not going to help. The Tanat Gizak, the wine press, the ladle, and the funnel. Shalev the chum of a guy. Rabbi Mata benigo chum meisen. Rabbi is Mata by just wiping it with the ephah. Chum say no, you need the iru milui. But you want to anant nam, but we learned now Mishnah Shalcheres of earthenware. Afapisha kolav sazefes. We said even if he peels off the whole time, but by the cheres, it's still going to be us. It's not going to help. So how could you say? How could Rabbi say it's mutter? The sefer of the Mishnah is the sheet of Chachamim. The last ayah of the Mishnah, Rabbi is matter a vat, which is made out of cheres, which is not with tar. He says all you have to do is niguf. He didn't put on tar. And in the last case of the Mishnah, a cheres that had tar of a guy, according to Rebbe, you have to peel off the zephes, and according to the Chachamim, peeling off the zephes won't help. You need irui umilui. So here, if you see the chart, he brings down by cheres. So by cheres, but if Eivid Kechavim was darachba, so according to Rabbi, klipa v'nigov is enough, and the Chachamim say you need milui ve'irui. You need both.
Yeah, they are more mahada.
More. The hardest one is going through a process of 3 days of filling it up with water, waiting 24 hours, pouring it out, and doing it 3 times that way.
Bigger job.
It's a much bigger job. Okay, we'll stop over here.
Is gedenken?
Yeah, for us.
Ja.